Welcome back to Southwest Yard and Garden. I'm Curtis Smith. In this segment, we're visiting with George Dickerson, Extension Horticulture Specialist, about making and using compost in the home garden. George, thanks for being here.
I'm glad to be here.
Is this a good time of year to be making compost in the home garden, and what do we put in it?
Well, this is a really great time of year because we're cleaning up all those old and any other debris that might be in the garden or around the yard. We can put those in the compost pile, again trying to clean up the yard for this year's planting season. If you look at this bin, you'll see there's all kinds of leaves, pine needles, food scraps, and even shredded landscape waste. Since most of these items are fairly high in carbon, I like to add some dairy, cow manure, or even horse manure to the bin to help the bacteria that are down in the compost break all these organic waste down. Now, if you want, you could use a nitrogen fertilizer instead of a manure. Just make sure that it doesn't contain a herbicide. Then add water. The compost should have the consistency of a damp sponge. The bin should be at least 3 feet high and 3 feet wide to have enough bulk to insulate the bacteria from cold weather and to get the composting process started. Now, since composting is an aerobic process, the bin should be well ventilated. If the compost is properly constructed, it should generate heat, killing most weed seed and diseases in the compost pile. The other thing we need to do, Curtis, is to make sure that we keep the compost turned. The more you turn compost, the faster it's going to break down.
Well, George, how long does it take for the composting process to be completed? And once it's completed, what do you do with your compost?
Well, the composting process can take several months depending on the time of year, what types of materials you're using, and how often you turn it. The finished product is a kind of a black amorphous type material we call humus. Humus contains humic acid and all kinds of nutrients in an organic form which can help nourish plant growth in the garden. Compost also helps improve the structures of our soil, improving the water-holding capacity of a sandy soil and its ability to hold nutrients, and improving the aeration and drainage of a clay soil. Compost should be spread evenly across your garden and turned under with either a garden fork or a rototiller. The garden then can be raked smooth, removing any rocks. You're then ready to plant. For more information on composting, look for these publications on backyard composting and composting worms called vermicomposting in the office of your local county extension agent.